Now down to Cuba, where the president says the failed country is asking the U.S. for help. Earlier today, Trump shot down reports that Senate Republicans have warned him against any potential military attacks.
Does the president of Cuba has his days numbered?
Well, they're not doing well. Cuba is not doing well. It's a failed nation, and we'll be talking about Cuba at the right time.
Joining us now, Florida Congressman and gubernatorial candidate Byron Donalds, representing a state full of folks from Cuba. Congressman, great to see you. How do you see this playing out, and is it for the betterment of the people of Cuba and the people who fled Cuba so long ago?
Well, it's good to be back with you guys. What I want to see is a free Cuba where the regime has fallen and you have liberty and opportunity, not just personal, but also economic, for the people of Cuba and, frankly, for the people who fled the Castro regime because they didn't want to become political prisoners, they didn't want to be killed, etc. And so there's going to be a long journey ahead, but it starts with the regime falling. Cuba as a nation right now is in deep, deep trouble. President Trump is 100% correct on that. And so it's going to be be watching this very closely to see what the next steps are. But this has to end, in my view, with a free Cuba for the people of Cuba, both obviously on the island, but also Cubans who've called Florida home and the United States home since the 60s.
Congressman, some people thought maybe a move on Cuba would happen shortly after Venezuela, and then you got Iran in between there. I wonder if you think the timing is right to do something big with Cuba, or if our plate is already too full right now with Iran still ongoing.
Well, I think you have to trust the President and Secretary Rubio about the sequencing of these events. I think that's the better way to talk about it in terms of whether the plate is full or not. I think it's more about sequencing. And so we'll see the decisions that they make. But rest assured, we are in this position today because of the leadership and the actions of President Trump and Secretary Rubio. And they're to be commended for the many changes they've done to foreign policy in the Western Hemisphere, which has us as close as we've ever been to seeing a free Cuba.
Congressman, your constituents, and it will be the whole state, assuming you become the governor, what are their feelings, the people who fled Cuba, but also the Venezuelan people who had to flee the oppression and just the murderous regime there, about what President Trump has done and what he plans to do?
Well, being down in Miami, you talk to Venezuelans, they are very happy with the direction of Venezuela, very grateful for the leadership of President Trump, having an opportunity for their home country to be reopened again, to be a free nation again, be a place that respects property rights, the things that in America are the bedrock of our country. That's what the Venezuelan people have been wanting this entire time, and it's now closely at hand. You talk to Cubans down in South Florida or anywhere else in the country, they have the same feelings. They want to see their home nation liberated. That's basically the beginning and the end of it. And let's be very clear, if you take the long arc of history, what we know is that dictatorships, whether they're theocratic like Iran or whether they're communists like Cuba, they all end in one tragic, tragic story, and that is the destruction of liberty and freedom of the people that live in those countries. So the Cubans want to see a free Cuba, and I support them 100%.
You know, the Iranian regime's been in place for 47 years. It's even longer than that for the communists in Cuba. The tentacles can run deep. It can take a long time to change things. Do you think that Cuba still has the memory of freedom that would allow them to throw off these shackles if the opportunity presents?
Well, look, that remains to be seen, but one thing we all know is that the spirit of liberty and freedom is embedded in every human being. I think when you talk about these structural changes that would have to take place going forward, that stuff is going to, in my view, is going to take some time. But it starts with the regime of Diaz-Canel falling immediately. You got to start there, and then you take the necessary steps going forward. And I believe that the United States will be a partner to help the Cuban people get back on their feet, to be able to reestablish a functioning country that works in conjunction with the United States and other countries in our hemisphere.
Congressman Byron Donalds, great to see you. Thank you, sir.